to die, to sleep, to dream.
This is a clemency hearing for your conviction, 25 to life. Since you've been in custody, you've been involved in a theater program.
Gentlemen, let's go. It's been a program that was established to help people get more in touch with their feelings and it really get some rehabilitation.
Sing Sing follows the story of a group of prisoners in prison for long terms that find a little bit of peace, let's call it, and purpose by doing theater inside the prison, preparing the play, and with the help of an instructor, they sort of form bond between themselves and a little bit of direction while they're in prison. And they're led by a character called Divine G, played by colmandomingo, which does a very good job. But overall, these clash of two worlds between the harsh reality of prison and the theater is what the film is all about. But Basil, first impressions, tell me what you thought when you sat down for this film.
Yeah, definitely an interesting one. But there's a grainy look to this film, which kind of sets the tone straight away. It's almost like it's filmed in the 90s or something. I don't know if you got that as well. And it kind of looks a bit
yes.
like almost looks a bit documentary based, the way the director goes about showing the scenes and the close up and stuff, which adds a gritty feel to it. And it makes you feel like you sat in the the basketball court when they're rehearsing, or you sat in the canteen with them, or in the yard, when they're having these the silly politics of prison life, whether that be threatening someone to get money or stuff off cigarettes, blah blah blah, which one of the characters, Clarence, does do. There's quite a few character arcs in this film, and as you pointed out, Alex, before we started recording, there's a few characters in this film that are playing themselves, which it just goes to show the realness and dedication of the characters in this film. Well, I thought this was very good. You're seeing a bunch of guys in a maximum security prison come together and perform art, essentially. They're writing a play, they're rehearsing a play, and they're enacting it. And they're literally quoting Shakespeare. They come up with this great idea of a time traveling drama which
Prince.
Involves which involves various things from around the world and famous people and so forth and so on, and it's really good. So it definitely gets thumbs up for me. Did you find the arcs of the characters interesting, Alex, watching this?
Absolutely. I think this is like we prefer those little sort of like one setting type of film. It's not in one room, but is in the prison all the time.
Sure.
But I like the fact that they introduced this outsider, because the film essentially starts with the group of actors / prisoners that have to recruit one more person in, and they see a little bit of potential in one of the most toughest prisoners in the prison, in the prison, Clarence, right? Which he's in there for drug dealing. He's tough with the other ones. He's violent. You can see that he's exactly the type that you will never imagine doing a play. And they recruit this guy, and that puts a little bit of pressure in the dynamic within the group, the rest of the group, because they've been doing this for a while and they're bonding, right? So they will be, needing this new person, but that person will need to adapt to them, considering he's never adaptable. He always watches his back, isn't it? And that's a really strong character arc that I found really fulfilling by the end of Clarence. Didn't you like that character?
Yes, and also on the contrary to that, because Coleman Domingo's role as well as Divine G, would you say he almost kind of goes the other way? In the film, he is a very, very calm, collected, almost a figurehead of the group. He speaks for the group, doesn't he? Because he's very eloquent in his words. He's got a past of being able to write, so that's why he actually helps the instructor Brent with quite a few of the monologue and so forth and so on, and how the gentleman can perform. But he has his own we might say underdevelopment in the film. He starts off as this really calm and collected, but even he is human, and has these emotions. And you know, I think we were talking about it, Alex, but you know, the idea that you might be stuck in a prison for the rest of your life, you know, the fact that they had this opportunity to do a drama play, you know, for some of them, it's just pure escapism. You know, and you can see that, and they want to cherish it. They want to cherish it, and even Clarence towards the end realizes what it means to be part of this play with the rest of these gentlemen.
Yes.
And I think this film also, it could probably be said it's focusing on male mental health a little bit, because these are some of the toughest guys going, and you know, they're literally sat around a circle at one point, aren't they, talking about, you know, what their favorite things in life are. And it's really quite an emotional scene. I don't know if you know what I'm referring to, Alex, but when they're all sitting around in the circle, and they're you know, they're imagining what their favorite things are, you know, when they were last truly happy.
Yeah, yeah, and that's it's a good point, because some of these guys, I mean, most of them have really bad, they're convicted for really bad things.
Yeah.
But the Divine G, like they call the main character's name is, has a little bit of hope that he might get out. And, you know, Clarence, the guy that has no hope, and somehow that lack of thinking, you know, I'm never going to get out of here. So that also almost like fuels his better performance in the acting. And this contrast between, you know, acting is also a discipline, it needs to be well organized, well rehearsed, and everybody needs to do their role and follow orders. Well, what about these characters are all about not following orders? That's why they're in prison in the first place, by not abiding the law. So
Sure.
they're in there. This contrast comes up with this beautiful result of a bunch of prisoners that are doing so well at putting a play together and working together. And, you know, and it just goes to show that the powerful part is that this is based on a true story. That's the most powerful part, I think, because it's incredible to see that this is a better way of turning these lives around than the usual programs that you have in prison with other stuff to sort of get them back into society. And this has shown more results than other. And the fact that these actors are going, these in real life, these are ex-prisoners, so they've already come out of prison, and now they're stepping back into those harsh lives, just for this film. That's what I found incredible. I've seen an interview. One of the actors said it's like stepping back into hell, because he's left prison and now he's going back, and he's like willingly stepping back into hell.
Yeah, and also I think it's just like you just mentioned, you know, it's about having discipline to just simply do this play. And you know, these are guys that have never had discipline, or if they have, it's been a very short tenure of it. You know, so and almost to be in prison and to not, you know, to survive, you almost do have to act. I think that's shown most in Clarence's role. You know, he's this big tough guy who bullies the rest of the prisoners to get what he wants. That's an act. You know, so like he's almost kind of like doing that,
correct,
like, you know, anyway when he's doing the play. So I think that's really good.
Well, even Divine G sits in front of the commission for his parole, and you know, at the end of that interview, one of the judges say, "Are you acting right now?" And he's like, it's crushing, that scene, because he's there to save his life. And because of doing something he loves, which is acting, his real life is in jeopardy. His liberty is in jeopardy. And you're thinking, you know, he's like, what have I done wrong? All I'm doing is I'm trying to build back my life, and for that I'm being
purged. You're being purged for it. Yeah. Yeah, and that's a great scene as well. And you just mentioned it. And it's like that really actually hits hard home. That does, because even when he's been one of the founding members of this program, he's still being doubted, and that's just the reality of prison. You're always being doubted, you know, even if you do all that good work. And you know, there's even quite a few conversations that can be had about, you know, the role of the black man in the prison. You know, because Clarence has some great conversations with Divine G about, you know, he feels like he just should be in prison anyway, because that's how his mindset's been corrupted. You know, it's like he's just born to be in prison, and he's like, oh, I'm quite happy here anyway. Why should I be outside? And you know, Divine G has to say, look, you know, there's more to it. You've been brainwashed to think like this now. That's what they want you to think. You know, you need to try to get out. So there's loads of great things to this film, I reckon, Alex, and I think he'll be enjoyed by many. Thank you for watching our review of Sing Sing. If you want to watch a similar dialogue-heavy film, I would recommend A Piano Lesson. You can watch that here, which me and Alex recently reviewed. Please like and subscribe, and take care.